Hey everybody, doing a little bit of a lunch in the woods. I just doing a little bit of exploring of some land, some like really dense cedar forest. It's really neat. There's some grouse thumping over there, and the frogs were super loud in the pond behind me a while ago. Just gonna go through what I brought in my bag, and then I'm gonna make something to eat. It's all my food. Got some thin leather gloves, getting some sticks. Got my cutlery bag, utensils, cutting board / plate. Got the twig stove. Got a small, thin stainless steel pan and a kettle. And that is it. Got my kuksa for my tea. And I did bring my Agua Canyon 21, but I'm not sure I'll need it. There's lots of dry cedar around, so I'll probably harvest that. I also have my remora pack. I've got my notepad, a pencil, my Leatherman, a lighter. I have some dates actually that my friend just came back from visiting home in Saudi Arabia, and he brought me back some dates, so I thought a couple small little packs, so I thought I'd bring them on the hike. I'm actually gonna have a couple of them right now, and then I'm gonna go gather some twigs for the twig stove. Wow, those are so good. Sweet like honey. Set up the twig stove. Maybe find a little rock to level that out a bit. And I actually did bring a foam pad, so I'm gonna pull that out, put it under my bum. That's better. Okay. Have a sip of water and I'm gonna grab some firewood. Okay, so I got some twigs for the stove. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to get my food out, get it all sort of sorted out, and so I'm ready to go when it comes time. Try to do as much of the prep beforehand as possible. It's a beautiful striploin from Johnson Farms. It's a F1 wagyu. And I'm actually gonna get some salt on that first, just to get it at sort of ambient temperature and nice and seasoned. So I'm gonna hit it with some of this Newfoundland sea salt, and it's juniper smoked sea salt. So I'm gonna go pretty heavy on that. Let it hang out. Some butter in my pan for my mushrooms. Got these beautiful pearl oyster mushrooms. Just go in the pan for now. These kale florets. They're gonna go on the grill as well. I'm gonna hit them with some salt as well, and a little bit of olive oil. Salt. And I brought a little bottle of olive oil. Just gonna give a good squirt on there and just let them hang out. Going through the freezer, and I found one of my last jars, or my last jar of wild leek pesto. So I whipped up a little wild leek pesto compound butter to go on top of the steak and the vegetables. When they're all done, just wrapped it in a little bit of butcher paper. Trying to make way for the new growth wild leeks that are coming up. Be a couple more weeks and we'll be going and harvesting some of those. Brought a tea bag, just gonna set that there. And a little foil pack of parsnips. Little foil pack of parsnips. I've already blanched them. They just need to get a nice char on them, so. Okay, I think I'm ready to start my fire. Got all my ingredients ready. Now cedar burns really quite hot and fast. That's why I have all my ingredients ready to go. I want to take advantage of the hot flame when I have it. Get my kettle right on, and I'll stoke it from the back here. When we have hot flame like this, it's extremely important to try to temper your steak as much as possible. The cold steak, you're gonna shock it. It's not gonna cook as evenly. I can get my mushrooms on too. Get some salt in those mushrooms. So yeah, you want to bring the temperature of the steak right up. It'll cook nice and evenly, and you won't have that like super pink center and that grayish brown outside. It'll be just a nice pink all the way through, especially with the proper resting. Mushrooms are so good. A lot of times when you're cooking a steak, you want to cook it on hot coals. But when you only have cedar, it's not always an option to be able to cook things on nice hardwood coals. So this is sort of how you would cook a steak, in my opinion, when you don't have that nice hardwood at your disposal. Even the steak being close to the twig stove right now is going to take some of that ambient heat, help it bring it up to temp. Just kind of moving things around, taking advantage of the honestly the slope that it's on. I just am trying to move the butter around in the mushroom pan. I went to the market on Saturday and I found some beautiful pearl oyster mushrooms and some of this kale floret from Cedar Grove, and I found some parsnips from Carrot Top Organics. The parsnips are really pretty. They're one of my favorite root vegetables by far. It's like super carrots. So I just gave them a blanch for about, I don't know, 5 minutes or so in some boiling water, and then strain them off, and a little bit of olive oil and salt on those as well. walking down the a game trail on my way here, and I bumped a deer. Nice to see it. Its big white flag of a underside of the tail hopping down the trail. The sound of the frogs and the spring peepers and the grouse and spring is my favorite season. It's full of new life, and after a long cold winter you start to see some things pop up like wild leeks and trout lilies, fiddleheads, and then all summer we get to enjoy the bounties of the farms. Okay, that is ready to come off. Start my tea bag. I've got a herbal tea from Marissa's Herb Garden. It is the Breathe blend. Sort of congested the past couple days, so should clear me up a little bit. Okay, mushrooms are coming along. Add some more wood to the fire. Let my tea steep a bit. One of my favorite, most memorable dishes I've ever had in a restaurant was actually a parsnip side dish at a restaurant many of you might know, called Joe Beef. And it's like parsnips that were charred over charcoal, laid right onto charcoal, and then wrapped in tin foil. And they were deeply charred, skin on, super tender, and they were just tossed with a citrus beurre blanc and a really big handful of chopped chives on top. And yeah, it's one of the most memorable dishes I've ever had in a restaurant. And it was a side dish, which is awesome. So ever since then, I've sort of liked to let my parsnips and even my carrots char a bit, bring out those sugars, natural sugars. So I'm just gonna let that get nice and toasty. Gonna pull the mushrooms off to the side now. Let them hang out. The steak, when I put it on, you know, a lot of people say you need to only flip a steak once, and that's absolutely not true. You can flip a steak as many times as you need to flip that steak to cook it evenly. I'm gonna flip it a lot, especially on this high of heat. It's gonna be probably only about 30 seconds on a side and then flipped and then flip back, flipped and flip back. Let these hang out. I'm stuck to it. I'm gonna cook the steak now. Get a little bit of that char around that fat, render it off a bit. I also never put pepper on my steak. In my opinion, pepper is a pepper is a spice, not a seasoning. Really, when we're putting together dishes, we want to try to think about acids as well as salt to season. And black pepper, people love black pepper, but it's actually it's a spice. It's not a seasoning. Just gonna keep turning it. That's why I love the size of this twig stove so much. I don't really have to think about what steak I'm gonna bring out to grill. I know that I'm gonna be able to put a ribeye, a striploin, a nice big bavette, skirt steak, flank steak. I'm not just kind of stuck to a tenderloin or a top sirloin baseball steak. Okay, I'm gonna pull that off to rest for a little while. Shove these sticks in a bit. I'm gonna hit my kale on there, and I'm just gonna let that get a little charred. The salt is starting to wilt it down a little bit. This is also really good with wild garlic mustard. When it starts popping up, eat your invasives. But for now, we use kale. Not a huge fan of kale, but I like the flavor of it. I don't love the texture of it, but this intrigued me when I saw it at the market. Try out. It's a lot like broccoli florets or rapini. So basically doing the same thing I would do with rapini, or even fiddleheads for that matter. Or asparagus. Very similar stuff, I guess. Just gonna shove a little bit of space over in here, and once it's good to go, I'm gonna pop this back on for a little bit while my steak is resting out. Get a nice char on those. Oh yeah. You out the tinfoil is great. Beautiful. Okay, just gonna leave those kind of hanging out. Get my mushrooms and go back on. Perfect. Gotta get creative when you're cooking in the woods. Use up all the space you have. And I hit the steak back on just a little bit just to warm it up. Just gonna slice my steak up. See that? It's medium rare. Some of this butter on top. Some beautiful charred parsnips. Voila! Dinner. Gotta finish it, of course, with that Newfoundland sea salt. Try some of this food. Oh, the parsnips are perfect. The balance of flavors between the sweetness and the char is perfect. Mm-hmm. The mushrooms are buttery and salty and silky. A little bit of crispy on the edges. Tastes like kale. Also really nice with the char though, and it adds a lot of brightness to the dish. Last but not least, wagyu. Very good. Such a good balance of flavors with the fatty and char of the beef, the char on the kale and the parsnips, but the sweetness and saltiness of everything as well. The wild leek butter is fatty, but it's wildly strong, gives it that nice cut from that raw onion flavor. Steak is way too big for me to eat, so I'm gonna put it in a Ziploc bag and bring it home to Cass. Okay, I am full. I am gonna get cleaned up and I'm gonna start heading back to the truck. I have the last of my tea here and my last date. I'm gonna enjoy them together, and I'm gonna write a little journal entry and enjoy the last bit of my tea. Just do a little reflecting. I love my Bowman Gear Remora pack. My notepad fits perfectly in it. Don't have to take it out, I can just leave it right in, right. Got everything I need right here. I'm trying to keep my journal entries short and sweet, and I'm only doing them when I'm outdoors. A couple years ago I tried journaling, and I journaled every single day for probably 3 months, and I just found that I was sort of journaling the same thing every day. I went to work, I got off work, I went to bed, hung out with the girls, did this, did that. Where I'm trying to do it more outside on times like this, where I can reflect in a space that I'm comfortable reflecting in. Talk about really simple things in my journal. Things that I saw when I was outside, some observations, what I cooked for a meal, what activity I was doing, where I was, some seasonal stuff. And yeah, so half of it is going to be sort of just what the events were, when, where, why, how kind of thing. And then the bottom half is going to be what did you have to eat. And so I can look back and note some recipes that I use, or some dishes that I made when I was doing certain things. So yeah. So yeah, I've mostly been taking the Remora pack and bundling up the straps in here, and then just feeding my backpack cross strap in through. That way it's still on my person, easy to access, but it's not too many straps all bungled around me, nice and comfortable. Can't wait to use it for turkey hunting coming up now. It'll be great for lots of different hunting, just nice pack right there. So, yeah. so nice out still. The sun's hitting beautifully. Just wanted to conclude by saying a big thank you to everyone who's been following along on the journey. I'm still pretty green at recording myself, learning the camera angles and how to do it by myself, and even just getting comfortable in front of the camera. I feel like I'm getting a bit better, but I still have a lot of work to do. I'm really enjoying the Twig Stove. It's really fun to use, and that's been awesome. And it's great to hear all the feedback that I'm getting from other people also enjoying it, and seeing what people are cooking up on it. And yeah, that's sweet to be able to have something that's physically out in the universe that people are also enjoying. Is awesome. So I'm glad that's happening. So yeah, there's more to come. I've developed some more things, just field testing them now. You'll see sneak peeks of them in the videos. Thank you so much, and if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Every little bit helps, and hopefully you're enjoying the videos, and if you do, like and comment on them. Ask questions. I'm more than happy to answer the questions and help people get outside and be comfortable cooking over fire as well. So yeah, big thank you.